Alright, hey, what's going on, everyone? Today we're going to be talking about the Nintendo Switch and my experience with it after a substantial amount of time playing it. In this case, just over a week. So, what do I think in general? Well, the first thing that really comes to mind, at least getting the console out the door for Nintendo and getting it into homes, is that their business model is really reminiscent of what they did with the NES Classic Edition and Amiibo. And it's the business model where you purposely undercut everybody. You don't supply enough to meet demand so that it drives up demand. So people see that, like, oh, you have one. And I actually have a perfect demonstration of this. I was at work. A few days, but when I got it, I posted on Facebook that I'm like, oh yeah, I got the Nintendo Switch, look at it, it's cool, radical, tubular. And one of my friends notices that, right? And he's like, okay, so he likes the post and everything. And a few days later, actually yesterday, so quite a bit more than a few days, it's like a week later, comes into my work, he sees me there, and I'm like, oh, hey, what's going on? And he's like, you got the Switch, you motherfucker. And I'm like, he's like, I'm so pissed at you. And I'm like, yep, I got the Switch, and it's actually, and I'm like, yeah, it's thanks to my boss, because he actually let me buy one right away, which is not something a lot of places will let you do, because they'll fucking can you if you actually do that right away and you buy one. He actually let me do it, and that's really fucking cool, so that's why I got one, and it's like, so my friend is like, yeah, fuck, now I really fucking want one, now that everyone's got one and I don't. And that right there, that reaction right there is what Nintendo tried to spark. And they fucking succeeded, because I've seen it. I've seen it happening. And it's the reaction when you're like, okay, so everyone else is getting one, or at least supposedly everyone else is getting one. You know a bunch of people that have one, and you're like, oh my fucking god, I really want that. Whereas if they wouldn't have gotten it day one, you would have been like, okay, yeah, I'll wait. There's not that many games out for it. It's probably not the best investment right now, which is true, by the way. And, I'll just hold off until it goes down in price. It goes on sale, like during the holidays or something, and there's more games out there for it, and I'll have a better experience on it. But when you see, people that have one, and they purposely, have fuck all for supply to meet, demand, it drives up demand even more, because only, the select few people that have one can be all like, oh yeah, look at this, I got one, you don't. Tough luck finding one, sugar tits, because you're not fucking going to. They're sold out everywhere, and that right there makes people want to find one and buy it. So that's very interesting, and that's exactly what they did with the NES Classic Edition. That's exactly what they did with Amiibos. Fuck, I still get calls every day, all day at work about the NES Classic Edition. People calling, oh my god, you have the NES Classic Edition, brother? Like, no, I don't have the NES Classic Edition, they're all sold out, Yeah, welcome to Wisconsin, by the way. But yeah, I still get shit for the NES Classic Edition every day, all the time. And that's how long that can last. That marketing, tactic can last a long fucking time. Especially if you continue not to supply demand, which is where the problem starts. You're not gonna fucking sell any units if you don't supply them. Nintendo, you can just, sit there and, roll around in the big pile of cash you have from the initial launch. Of course, but what the fuck are you going to do after that if you don't supply demand? Are you just going to let the console die then? Did you just, spend fucking 5-6 years developing a console and not, you just launch it and then fucking leave it die? Like, what are you going to do after this? Are you actually going to meet demand? Are you actually going to have a steady flow of units at some point? I can't tell you that based on their business model over the past few years with Amiibo and stuff like that. So it might be perpetually fucking sold out until the EOL. Or end of life. It might literally fucking do that. They might actually continue that business model throughout the entirety of the Switch's lifespan. Now, I don't necessarily think they're going to do that, but that's... Knowing Nintendo with Amiibo, which they're still doing this with Amiibo, and they're still doing this with NES Classic, it might fucking happen. And Amiibo have been out for a few years now. So, yeah, that has me a little bit concerned. Because how the fuck are you going to sell units if you don't have any to sell? So there you go. Granted, that's probably not going to happen, but knowing Nintendo, it's still kind of a possibility. Knowing how they do business these days, it's still kind of a possibility. So we will see. We will see what they do as far as getting the console out the door and into more homes than it already is. Because once they have a steady supply, it might sell steadily for a few months or so. Who knows? We can only predict shit and be right or massively wrong. Who knows? I might be fucking on the money and they might just let it die after a month. I doubt that, because this was a big investment for them that actually took the course of fucking decades to perfect. But I don't know, it's just one of those things we have to watch play out and see what happens. So yeah. Alright, next up, the hardware itself. Build quality, fucking solid. I actually really enjoy holding this thing. Portable mode, fucking Pro Controller, Joy-Cons docked to the fucking little controller thing you got here. I really like how the thing feels. It feels like a premium console. It's really nice. Yeah, it's still plastic, but it's really solid. It has really good, like molding. It just feels great. I really enjoy it. Granted, the joysticks on the Joy-Cons could be a little bit better. They could be a little bit more fluid, but at the end of the day, actually, I'm not really complaining about that too much. I actually kind of like how they have little notches. For me, it feels slightly, it's just a little bit more tactile feedback is nice, but I don't know if that helps their precision. So, Pro Controller for precision. Yeah, I'll say that. Pro Controller for precision. So yeah, hardware itself, the actual physical unit that encases everything inside, very nice. I really like it. I love having it. It looks really cool. Big Nintendo Switch logo on the back, so you can say, look, I have something you fucking don't, you prick. So yeah, that's nice. Now, internals. One thing that actually surprised me is that I noticed while playing it that it actually has a fan. It does have a fan, and this thing is built much more like a laptop than it is a game console, which does benefit it because it can get the most out of what's inside of it, which is good. So it does have cooling. It has active cooling, and in there it has a fan that I noticed when I was playing it. It was actually pushing out air, which was very surprising to me because it's such a small form factor. But then again, there are laptops that are massively thin that can fit fans in there, so that kind of works. But now we have to kind of get onto the GPU CPU, which is it's an SoC, it's a system on a chip. So I don't know how I feel about that, because it's not a whole lot more powerful than the Wii U, and as a result, it does not match the capabilities of the Xbox One and PlayStation 4 base models, and that's really disappointing. And that's one thing that we've all been saying needs to happen. It needs to be at least competitive with those two consoles. But I am giving Nintendo a shot. They still might be able to make a winner out of this console with underpowered hardware, but we will see. Like, it's gotten to the point where they're saying that Skyrim that's coming out for it is going to be the original version of Skyrim, not special edition, not upgraded, none of that. It's going to be the original version of Skyrim. Now, we don't know that for sure. It might be the newer edition of Skyrim. We don't know, but if it is the older one, then that's going to be very disappointing. And it's like, Nintendo, you could have put just a little bit more power into this thing, and you could have charged $50, $100 more. You could have put something in the dock, because in there, all there is an HDMI controller. That's it. It's basically just a small video controller that just fucking connects to your TV. That's all it does. It does not supply the Nintendo Switch with any more power. All the power that the Nintendo Switch supplies is inside of the unit itself. That is not what I was hoping for. I was hoping the dock would have had some sort of high quality upscaler, not like FrameMeister type shit that cost hundreds of fucking dollars or anything like that, but at least some high quality upscaler that you can put in there that'll make everything look better and will not drop frames like fucking crazy. Because when on TV mode, playing Breath of the Wild, holy mother of fuck, it is very hard for it to sustain even 30 frames per second most of the time when in docked mode. Now, in handheld mode, which is where it really shines as a console, it plays beautifully. It's wonderful. It's great. It's consistently at 30, sometimes even above, and that's nice. I really like that, because in handheld mode, it's really good. And that's where it kind of comes down to the fact that it's a better handheld than it is a home console. And I think that Nintendo kind of designed it that way. But they also wanted to throw in the TV functionality. So if you want to, and you're just a good old-fashioned gamer like me, you can pick up your controller and you can play it on a TV the way that you want to do it. And for a lot of games, that's how I'm gonna like it. But for some other games where I kind of just want to lie down and have my TV doing something else, I love the fucking handheld functionality. I really do. It's fucking great. I love having it. But when it comes to playing games on a TV, it really struggles to do that. Even at like 900p, which is what Breath of the Wild runs at. It runs at 900p on TVs. This should not be a problem in 2017, Nintendo. The hardware that is in the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One is now obsolete and not very expensive. You could have put something at least on par with that in the Switch. You could have done it. You easily could have done that, and it wouldn't have been super expensive. It's just disappointing. But again, I am giving Nintendo a chance because they could come out with some motherfucking kick-ass titles that you only get on Nintendo Switch, like what they did with the Wii U. Only the Wii U, the biggest problem with the Wii U, I actually ran into this problem yesterday. One of my friends is like, well, I'm going to get the Wii so I can play Zelda. I'm like, okay, so this person clearly doesn't know what a Wii U is. And I'm like, so aren't you going to get the Wii U? And he's like, well, isn't that just a tablet thing? And I'm like, no, it's a whole new console. It's a complete upgrade from the original. It's an entirely different console with new hardware. And he's like, really? Yeah, that's most people, guys. That's most people. That's Nintendo's fault right there. That is Nintendo's fucking fault right there because they did not market that console well enough. It has one of the best fucking libraries out there, but it wasn't marketed well. It wasn't marketed well, and as a result, those libraries didn't get shit for support. The Wii U did not get shit for support. So if Nintendo Switch does have a library of fucking kick-ass games, like the Wii U did, but this time markets itself well enough, which it is doing this time around, mind you, it could kick some real fucking ass. It could kick some serious ass out there. And I have a feeling it might actually do that because it's actually getting the marketing it deserves. The Wii U did not. The Wii U did not at all. So, marketing team at Nintendo, good on you for actually marketing your console. Keep it up. Don't stop now. Pour those billions of dollars, not necessarily billions of dollars, into advertising, but pour that money you have into advertising this thing because that's going to sell units if you decide to supply them, which we talked about earlier. But yeah, go advertise it. Put it everywhere. Fucking everywhere. Advertise it to everybody. Hell, even fucking casuals. Advertise it to casuals. Advertise it to gamers mostly because, we're the people that buy it to play fucking games. Just fucking advertise it to everybody. Market it towards everybody because it is a console that can fit everybody. It's just, you gotta get it into their hands. So, do it. Because this could really be a winner. Seriously, guys, you could have very well a winner on your hands because you get those exclusives like you had on the Wii U. It's fucking done. Like, you have got a winner. You're not necessarily going to win this generation, but you are going to be successful with this console if you do that. So, go, now, go. But yeah, other than, the hardware issues I talked about, gameplay is pretty smooth. It's what you would expect from a console. It is smooth. It plays video games quite well, despite the frame drops in TV mode, which, by the way, there actually is a GPU drain, glitch going on right now where it's actually draining the power of the GPU. So these problems might actually be remedied once they patch the firmware, which is causing problems. So that could actually be an issue, and it could actually be completely fucking sapping the full potential of this thing. We don't know yet. So we'll see about that. But yeah, gameplay, really solid. Really like it. Breath of the Wild is absolutely fucking incredible, primarily because of Sidon. Oh my. But yeah, anyways, Breath of the Wild is fucking incredible. I absolutely understand all the 10 out of 10s it got, and no, I do not think those reviews are paid at all. I think those are actually genuine reviews, because I played the fucking game. It's absolutely fucking incredible. It really is. It's of great fucking time. It's, oh my fucking god. It's very quickly becoming one of my favorite games. It certainly won't be my favorite game because I already got one of those, you know what I mean? But yeah, it's absolutely fucking incredible. Like, at first I was like, okay, yep, pretty good, pretty good, pretty good. Yep, all right, yep. And then you get into it. You get deeper into it, and you're like, oh my fucking god, this is deep as fuck. And you're like, Jesus Christ! And it's like, yeah, it turns into it. Like, at first you start out, it's like, okay, this is pretty good, but then it gets deeper and deeper and deeper, and you just fucking fall, and then you can't put it down. You cannot fucking put it down. You gotta go to work in the morning. It's fucking 3 a.m. and you gotta get up at 5, but you can't fucking put it down. So that's what Breath of the Wild is like. So at the end of the day, at least at this point, we don't know where Nintendo Switch is going to go at this point. That's entirely up to Nintendo and what they want to do. But hopefully they're listening to people like me, people like you, people that, you know, actually buy the console to play the games, because that's at the end of the day, that's who matters. That's the market. That's the part of the market that matters in video gaming. We're gamers. We're the people that, you know, actually do this shit for our, you know, enjoyment, for our entertainment, because we're very passionate about it. So yeah, it's really it'll be interesting to see where they take this. Hopefully they don't make the mistakes that they did with the past 3 consoles. But I'm not completely putting that past them. They've done some. They're doing some weird shit right now. So we'll have to see what they do in the future. But at the end of the day, I think it's a really, you know, solid console that's going to end up a lot like the Wii U, only with better marketing. That's how I think it's going to end up being. Yeah, it's underpowered and everything, but so was the Wii U. But that didn't keep it from having really fucking amazing titles. So if they market it well enough, yeah, you take the hit on pure power in the console, which personally I couldn't care less for. It's just, it all has to do with marketing. It all has to do with, oh, this one's more powerful than that one, so I'm going to get that one. That's what it has to do with. And the fact that developers have to be able to put their new impressive games on, you know, hardware. They have to be able to do that. And with, you know, hardware that's not powerful enough, they can't really do that. So, yeah. We'll see. It could end up being like the Wii U, only with better marketing. That you know, it could end up being what the Wii U should have been, you know, with all these amazing fucking games that are just incredible, that end up getting all this support because, you know, they're actually getting advertisements and shit like that. So we'll see where Nintendo decides to take the Switch over the course of the next 5 or so years. So there you go. Those are my thoughts about a week or so after having it. If you enjoyed this video, remember to like it, remember to subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. And if you're gonna like for anything, like for Sidon, because it's fucking amazing.